It is day 89 of the COVID-19 season of Shift. It is June the 14th, Sunday morning, 2020. And by my count, it is the 71st recognition or national celebration of what we refer to as Flag Day. Flag Day. You see this flag right behind me? I met the artist earlier this year. I believe it was February. And his name is Timothy Yankee. You can't see it, but in the 13 white and red stripes is the Declaration of Independence, the 50 stars, and he did this himself. Later this year or next year, I have a plaque coming that has that very same thing. The flag of the United States was originally put together and accepted on June the 14th, 1777. There were 13 colonies that formed the United States of America. There are various ideals and folklore over where the red and the white and the blue come from. Different presidents have attached different meanings to it. It is likely that it is a grafting over from the mother country that we succeeded from in England and their colors. That is probably the most reasonable of the ideas. And the first person to begin to talk about needing a national recognition of our flag is a fellow by the name of George Morris of Hartford, Connecticut. It is likely that he is the one that originally began the conversation. And there were many that succeeded and many that came along. And it wasn't until, 71 years ago that it became a national holiday. It became a national recognition. It became something that the United States of America and all Americans was supposed to come under. Now I realize that you might look at the American flag differently than I do. When I look at the American flag and I see everything that's in there, I have such nostalgia because I think about all the territory, all the ideals and everything that has transpired, over the years, over these last 71 years, and from June the 14th, 1777. I think about how we have evolved into where we are. I think also of where we're going in all of the work that we have to do. Some look at the American flag and all they see is what we once were and what we are today. And others look at it and all they see is what needs to be done and what hasn't been done and all the failures that have happened. I personally do not think there's a one way or the other to look at the American flag and celebrate this day. I think it's both. I think that we need to look at that flag and we need to celebrate the grand old flag and Old Glory herself. And we need to celebrate that which we've come from. And at the same time, embrace the ideals that we need to move forward. Because the truth is, not everybody feels the freedom and the unity that comes to me when I look at this flag. So we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of celebrating to do. We do. Yet, here's the truth that I want us to look at today. It's one thing to look at that flag. It's one thing to see what this means. It really is. It's one thing to see that and look at it and see it in one of three ways. You can either look at it and see it as something that we've done, or you can look at it and see all the failures that we haven't accomplished, or you can look at it the way I look at it, and I see it as both. We've accomplished a lot, and we still have a lot to accomplish. Yet, all the work that needs to be done cannot be done unless something happens on the inside of you and I that have met here for the last 89 days at the 707. Let me just give you three things that I think that we need to look at. First of all, The work of unity for myself and for me to come in alignment with the best version of me has to happen initially. It has to happen initially because I can't really come in unity under a flag of any sort unless I come into unity of purpose for myself. And that is work. Originally, the flag in June 14, 1777 only had 13 stars and it was a circle. And the reason they chose the circle is because it was the unity of the circle, the never-ending unity of the circle. And there were 13 colonies that made up the United States of America. Today, we have 50 stars on there. And the reason that we have 50 stars is currently we have 50 states. We have some provinces that's not recognized there. Yet it's 50 states that come underneath that to symbolize the need for unity because we can accomplish much more together than we ever could apart. So as we come into unity of my own self, and I just want to confess to you, I just want you to know that as I look at myself in the mirror, as I look at Matt in the mirror, I think I see a different Matt than some of you do. Some of you look at me and you see me so much differently. In fact, I wish that I could see those portions of me that you do. Yet I can't because I see a fella that's accomplished a lot, yet has a lot to do, has a lot more space and ground to cover, a lot more self-unification that I have to do. I have to bring my three colonies together. That's my mind, my will, and my emotions. That deep within my soul. And here's the truth. They're not always at peace with each other. Sometimes my mind, my will, and my emotions are in like a civil war inside myself. And so that work is an ongoing work. And so step number one to come into unity is to this work of unity must be because I want more than what I don't want. See, if I focus on what I don't want, I just get more of what I don't want. So I have to focus on that. Having a dual purpose will only waste and minimize the energy that I need to further developing as a good human being, as a contributing human being, as a growing human being. And if I do this work and I focus on me, you focus on you, we come together and I support you and you support me, eventually what we have is a unified community. When we get a unified community with a single purpose, then that unified community can grow itself into a unified city. That unified city and the next unified city can grow into a unified county. And that county, along with the other 57 counties, can grow into a unified state. And then that state, along with the other states, can grow into a unified 50 states. And then it's no telling what we can accomplish as a nation under one flag and celebrate Flag Day. Number two, the work of personal unity and freedom to live the higher version of myself and the best version of myself is an ongoing, evolving work that's always going on. It will never be complete. Well, actually, that's not true. When I've got 6 feet of dirt on top of me or my ashes have been spread somewhere across this great land, I don't know where they'll be. My children will get to do that. My children and grandchildren will get to choose wherever that happens. It's an ongoing work. I will never have it completed. This work that we do on ourselves is an ongoing work. It's an evolving work because we can't see tomorrow. So tomorrow will add to some of the work that needs to be done. Number three, the unity of purpose and freedom involves accepting the short-sighted choices and the actions and attitudes that I had of yesterday, accepting them as opportunities to grow through rather than lament over. I goofed in some areas. I failed in some areas. I flopped in some areas, and I must accept and take responsibility for those flops, those failures, and those goofs. And rather than lamenting over them and letting them become the heavy weight that makes me a small person, I must let them diminish into the dirt and into the stones and into the sand that creates the steps that brings me to a higher version of myself and a easier to get along with, a more compliable person. That's what all of us must do. Raise your flag and celebrate your journey to this now and look forward to the rest of the journey that's ahead of you. That's what we have to think about, I think, today on June the 14th, 2020, the 71st day, or the 71st year in a row that we have nationally celebrated Flag Day. We have a journey ahead of us. We've accomplished so much together. And as we continue to move forward, let's celebrate each other underneath that. The red, the white, and the blue. As we come together unified to lift up that flag and what the Declaration of Independence was all about. Declare your independence from needing the acceptance and the qualification of someone else. And look deep within yourself and find that truer, greater version of you and step up to that. All right? Hey, I'm Matt, and I'm your friend. And I celebrate with you as you declare your independence from the bitterness, anger, and resentment of yesterday towards yourself or to other people or to circumstances. And you press forward to the high calling, that calling of who you were always supposed to be. Hey, give me a call or text me at 916-708-8103. You can email me at matt@mattupton.net. And I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great Flag Day. I'll see you tomorrow at 7:07 right here.